You are now tuned into the. You are now tuned into the. You are now tuned into the Fraudcast.
Welcome to the Fraudcast. We are doing our Sister Wives recap, and we are in season 17, episode 2. And Hanekawa is out sick. Whatever my hokey plague, I probably gave it to her virally through the computer. She's like been hooked up to a nebulizer and shit for the last like eons. So she hasn't been able to record. She has no voice. So I've roped in my dear friend Lexi.
Hi.
Hi, Lexi. Now, some of you guys may know her. She jumped on a live with me before. I think I posted pictures with her before because she has this cutest little daughter, Kaya, who is my spirit animal. I love that. I love that child so much. And you have also seen her on The Single Life, season 1 with she and Danielle are friends. And that's kind of how we met. Actually, Danielle is how we met. Was because I was friends with Danielle. I'd become friends with her, and then we all met, and it was a whole thing. And now we're friends because we live locally to each other. So
We do.
we do, yeah. And so Lexi, who has been loving Sister Wives, has generously offered to step in. Well, I hounded her and said, please record with me. And so here she is. So we are going to do episode 2 of season 17. So what are your thoughts so far before we get into episode 2? What are your thoughts so far on the first episode?
So it was kind of heavy. I'm trying to remember exactly what happened on the first episode because I feel like I usually binge watch things and everything blurs together.
Right. Well, and episode 1 and episode 2 kind of blended together in that there was just a lot of Kody and
Talking.
Christine in her kitchen.
Right.
Talking.
I was actually very happy that Christine finally put her foot down and stood up for herself. That was really great to see. She communicated clearly and to the point, which was awesome because I feel like Kody,
such a breath of fresh air.
It really is.
Our reality shows that we watch.
It is, and I feel like it was more raw. It was cameras are up. They filmed it talking. It was, as though very like intimate in that setting. And I was just cheering her on. I was cheering her on.
For real. Absolutely. We're all team Christine, I think, after that, because we knew going into the season that she was leaving Kody. And if you'd follow her on social media, you know that she had, in fact, left him. So we were just waiting to see what was how it was going to play out. And I love watching her do this. And the next episodes just keep getting better. And it's like, this woman needs to teach a masterclass on how to leave your douchey husband.
Absolutely. And like I told you, I had COVID last year and binge watched the entire Sister Wives franchise. All of their seasons. And so
the entire franchise.
I feel as though I know this family. I feel like I'm a part of it when they're in your living room 24 hours a day when you're sick. I'm like, okay. I was so excited to do this podcast.
That is some dedication because we're on season 17. So you watch 16 seasons in a row of this family.
In my defense, I was very sick with COVID and had to quarantine for 14 days.
I watched a lot of TV, obviously, like that's my jam, right? I watched all of the TV in during COVID. So I'm not judging anything. I'm like bowing down to you because that's an impressive feat.
I'm just defending myself because I'm like, that's a lot. I just, it's a lot of Sister Wives.
In one, like at one time. I mean, like the rest of us have like spread this out over like 10, 15 years.
Right. Exactly.
You watched it all like 10, 15 days. That's amazing. So that's the kind of dedication we're dealing with. So we are going, you can see why I asked her to join me. So on season 17, episode 2 is called Is There a Favorite Wife? And my addition would be, and why is it Robin? Because we all know, and everyone's known from day one. I would be interested after we recap this episode and stuff. I would be interested in your thoughts, seeing it progress. Like since you've seen the earlier seasons so much more recently than the rest of us, or many of us, at least me, that I wonder like what your thoughts would be on like, do you see the red flags? Do you see all the stuff that's coming out now and that they're talking about that like the rest of us have been screaming at the TV for years, right?
Right.
Like, and you watched it, like, do you see it in the episodes? I'm curious your thoughts on that. So let's get into the recap on this. So they go through the recap of what happened in the first episode, which is, you know, whatever. So Janelle's talking about, you know, getting COVID, and thank God Kody didn't get it because, oh my God, what would Robin do? Sorry, I may have editorialized that a little bit. And then he goes to Kody on the couch saying he needs his private Kody alone time, which I don't know about you guys, but in our house, private alone time is code term for whacking it time. So I don't know if he needs to go beat his meat in the closet, but I mean, he needs his private Kody alone time. So, yeah, so he's in the closet talking, which you know, is this the first time he's been in the closet?
Who knows?
Who knows? So then we revisit Kody and Christine at the table and relive some of that again. And he tells us that he's shocked and angry. And he's been ruminating in it ever since. And basically like, oh, but I didn't take it seriously. I didn't take you seriously. Like, even though she's been saying this for apparently years, he never took her seriously. He says this is a repeated theme of his, is he never took her seriously. And in fact, in one of the next couple of episodes, he says something about they're always threatening to leave me. And I'm like, 3 out of 3 of your wives are always threatening to leave you. Like, maybe you're the problem. I don't know.
Yeah.
But he didn't take her seriously because, you know, women. Am I right? All right. So then we go to Truly and saying basically she does, or then Christine says Truly doesn't even notice if Kody's there or not. Now let's stop here. Can you tote it, but you just need an egg? Or maybe you have all the eggs. Do you even know what your ovarian reserve is? Did you know that 1 out of 6 couples struggle with infertility? Seriously, that's a staggering statistic that most people don't know or aren't ready to talk about. But we need good data and information about our bodies in order to have informed conversations with our doctors and make the best decisions for ourselves and our futures. What if I told you that you could get important fertility insight without going to the doctor or even leaving home? The traditional guidance with fertility has been just wait and see. I know, I've been through it myself. There's got to be a better way. But now we have tools to help us plan for and track everything in our lives. Wellness, finances, careers, school. Why is fertility still just wait and see? That's why Modern Fertility was created. It's an easy and affordable way to test your fertility hormones at home with a simple finger prick. Mail it in with a prepaid label and you'll get your personalized results within 10 days. You'll get insight into your hormone levels, your ovarian reserve, aka how many eggs you have compared to other women your age, like can you tote your own egg or do you need somebody else's egg, and other really important fertility factors. The results go deep into what every hormone means, and you can also download the results to review with your doctor for the next steps. Traditional testing can cost over $1,000, but Modern Fertility gets you the same information at a fraction of the price. If you go to modernfertility.com/fraudcast, you can get $20 off your test. Also, if you have an HSA or FSA, you can put those dollars towards Modern Fertility, which is great. If you want kids today or maybe one day in the future, clinically sound information about your body now can help you make the right decision that's right for you. Right now, Modern Fertility is offering our listeners $20 off the test when you go to modernfertility.com/fraudcast. That means your test will cost $179 instead of the hundreds or thousands it could cost at a doctor's office. Get $20 off your fertility test when you go to modernfertility.com/fraudcast. That's modernfertility.com/fraudcast. Did you know that 30 million women are impacted by weakened or thinning hair? If you're among them, know that you're not alone and that there is a solution that you can trust to deliver results. Millions of Americans experience thinning hair. It's more than common. It's actually normal, but it's not openly talked about, especially among us women. Going through it can feel lonely and frustrating, but it's time to change that conversation and join the thousands of women who are already standing up for their strands with Nutrafol. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement, clinically shown to improve your hair growth, thickness, and visible scalp coverage. Nutrafol supports healthy hair growth from within by targeting the 5 root causes of thinning: stress, hormones, environment, nutrition, and metabolism through whole body health. Nutrafol has 3 unique formulas to support women through all stages of life, including postpartum and menopause. Each formula is physician formulated using natural, drug-free, medical-grade ingredients in consistently effective dosages so you get the most reliable results. In a clinical study, 86% of women reported improved hair growth after 6 months. Over 3,000 top doctors and stylists have recommended Nutrafol as an effective and high-quality solution for healthier hair. You can grow thicker, healthier hair and support our show by going to Nutrafol.com and entering the promo code FRAUD to save $15 off your first month's subscription. This is their best offer anywhere, and it's only available to U.S. customers for a limited time. Plus, free shipping on every order. Get $15 off at Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code FRAUD.
This actually triggered me as a single mom. Yes, as someone who's raising a child by myself, I feel like Christine's pretty much a single mom. The fact that Trudy didn't even notice that Kody wasn't, the relationship had changed, that was a red flag for me right there. And I felt in my heart, I was like, that poor girl. I really did. It resonated with me.
Yeah. And I suspect that it would resonate with a lot of people in the same situation, even just on an empathetic level. Like, I'm not currently a single mom, but I have to have empathy about the situation, and it just continues to piss me off as the next a couple of episodes go on. The more Kody talks, the more he pisses me off with this nonsense.
And you know what? I wanted to root for Kody in my binge watching of this. I was like, at the first season, everyone seemed so happy. And, I'm the type of person that's all about do what you want, don't hurt others. And it seemed like a very loving family. Mm-hmm. And it seemed like, okay, you know what? This isn't my cup of tea. But hey, if it's working for them and the kids are happy, healthy, so be it. But then, of course, as things progress and now we're where we're at now, I'm like, okay, this is very unhealthy. This is very
and you see the progression of it, right? Like as the women as the wives sort of come into their own and, all of that. And you get some of that because Kody starts talking during these episodes about, how, when did it all go so wrong? But then at the same time, he's also like, they're always threatening to leave me. So which is it? Is it good all the time or is it bad all the time?
Right. And that's what I think about reality TV. Like, first of all, I know this was probably filmed like 6 months before it airs. And I know editing is an issue. So I don't know. All I'm seeing is, all I'm judging is what I see. But what I see is
but you also know from being on the show, they can only use what you give them. Right. Even though there is, creative editing. They use what you give them. Right. Right. So then we flash to Mary and Queen Robin both saying that Kody's so busy, gosh darn it, Kody's so busy. And then to Janelle saying, I don't know where the fuck he is. And I pretty much don't particularly care. Probably at Robin's because she has little kids, and maybe the nanny had to go pee, but Janelle gives 0 fucks about where Kody is and what he's doing and any of that. She's just like content doing her own thing, right? Which we'll see more later when she buys her RV. And then Queen Robin explains that she and Kotex, which is a friend of mine used that term calling him Kody Kotex, and when we were texting, and I thought it was just an autocorrect, and I thought it was the funniest thing in the world. So Kotex, King Kotex and Queen Sobbin Robin have, quote, a lot going on during the day. And that's why they have the nanny, and that it's not fair to ask him to help with the kids because he's a big, strong man with many offspring.
I wanted to wear a shirt that what does the nanny do, but I don't have it yet. I need to order it. And I know it's a podcast, so nobody will be able to see it anyways, but
we're going to work on getting video at one of these days, video feeds done. But no, then I'd have to maybe wear bras and stuff when I record, and I don't always want to do that. So this is where we start hearing more and more of all the things that we've been saying, like, to the TV, and we've all been saying about Kody, but Cody's actually using the words. And when he's talking about basically just not caring about wanting to be with his kids. And I'm going to skip ahead a little bit in the chronology here, because he says, so he's complaining, whatever, Christine didn't change her lifestyle during COVID, because here he is blaming COVID again. And then he says Christine came over to see the girls. Oh, Christine says he came over to see, I can't even read what I wrote here. Since he came over to see the girls once, and he had Robin's kids with him because he was, quote, babysitting them. And I shit you not, this is the quote that he says: "It's not normal for me to babysit my kids."
Mm-hmm.
And he said he'd rather pay someone else to babysit them because he makes more money and doesn't want to hike or kayak anyway, much less with the kids, because he doesn't like them or like doing things with them. And he'd rather pay somebody to hang out with the little snot suckers in their outdoor activities.
Ooh, again. Yeah.
Where do we go with this?
First of all, that's sad to see that on TV. I mean, no wonder his older children don't want anything to do with them. Some of them, and they're literally seeing their father say these things on national television, and it's really, really sad. I mean, okay, you wanted a large family, you wanted to have multiple wives. You need to own up on how you're going to spend time with them and how you're going to take care of them. And obviously, it's not about him. He's making it about him. Suck it up and go on the effing kayak and go hiking. Like what? What did Christine say? Twice in 800 days or something?
That they've been there? Yeah. He came out with
them.
them.
Gone hiking and he didn't like to do it. Like, who cares? There's a lot of things I don't like to do, but I'm going to do it because
my kid wants to. Yeah.
Exactly.
You think I like sitting outside of high school waiting for my kid to finish his whatever practice he was that day? Like, I've said this before, that having a teenager is like 90% sitting in your car waiting for them. Right. Like, and it's different. You've got Kaya, who's like not even 2, right? So you've got a completely different set of things that you have to do. You want to change her blowout diapers? Of course, nobody wants to, but we do it because that's what we have to do.
Exactly. And parents. I don't like it when any father says the word babysitting. Like, you are a equal partner. You're not a babysitter. That's it.
But we know. Now, we always suspected this about him, but he says it in these later episodes. He's saying the words that he basically doesn't care about his kids. Like, he has this whole family, all these wives, these kids, in his world exist solely to laud him, if that makes sense. He's like, talks about being head of the household and how he's not, and he's lost control of it. And they're supposed to bow down and be submissive and all this. He just wants, and we see this as he's talking about, like, quote unquote 50-50 custody with Truly.
That I laughed at, by the way.
Which is episode 4. The
one okay. I'm way ahead. That's why I'm like,
yeah,
I don't know where.
Yeah. We'll get to that one. But this is the theme. This is the theme that we're seeing, right?
Yeah.
And it's not just, I mean, like, he actually puts the words out there. I don't want to babysit my kids. I want to pay somebody else to hang out with them. But then he's like bitching that she's going to take Truly away into Utah. Like, and then as Christine points out later, is like, that's, you didn't have 50-50 custody now, like before, like you didn't, if you wanted to exercise your right to see her, you could have come over, and you never did then. So why would you want that now?
Exactly.
Which I don't think he does either, but he wants his little fiefdom. He has to be in charge.
And then he mentioned something about, he knows what it's like. And I don't know if this is episode 2 or not, so I'm sorry if it's not, but when he mentioned that he doesn't think that his wife, or he's married to wives that were divorced, and he knows what they say about their exes.
Yes.
And he doesn't want them to say the same thing about him, basically. And it's more like of his own ego. It's not the fact that, Christine wants to leave him. It's not the fact, it's literally just, he doesn't want his ego to be completely like put out there and just like shattered. I mean, obviously it's all about him.
Absolutely. And that is becoming clearer and clearer. And we've always known this, but he always talked like, I mean, he talked a good game about wanting to be, you know, oh, I have all these kids and I want to spend all this time with them and stuff. But then we're seeing in these episodes, no, that's not the case. So then we're back in the closet with Kody, and he's blaming COVID again and misinformation and how one person's actions can affect others. You know, Cody's philosophizing inside the closet. I don't know. Something about, you know, well, one person does, you know, something that's going to affect the rest of the family. Yes, it is. And he's just like making up excuses about why he can only be with Robin. I don't know. So then we flash to Christine on the couch, and she's wearing this amazing yellow sweater. And she's saying, yes, Kody, your actions hurt the whole family. It's true, you selfish ego ramen head. Again, might have editorialized that just a little bit. Then we go back to the couch, and Robin's unblended eyeshadow and her axe emoji eyebrows, saying that she loves Kody. But this husband here all the time thing, she's like, what the fuck? This is not what I signed up for. You're a big bore. You've got all these problems. You're stressing me out. You've got all these wife problems. Go figure it out. You've turned into a bitter, angry little man. And how, you know, Christine is stressing him out, and he makes everybody angry. And she's like, Kody, stop being such a drag.
I believe her. I can see it, because he's like I don't want to say crybaby. He's a man, but I mean, he's not in control anymore. And Robin's the submissive one. Robin's the yes, sir. Yes, you know, go to. So she's the one I can see that, her taking the like brunt of all of his anger and.
Yeah, because he's not hanging out with anybody else. He's only with her. And she's like, no, this isn't what I wanted.
And you can't get your own space if you're locked down for COVID so strictly that you're not even going anywhere at all, you know, because they're not even at the time leaving their house, it seemed like. So, oh my God, to be locked up with somebody that long.
Yeah, I did it. And then I married him. But he just went back to work, like a real job, like, well, not a real job. I mean, he had a real job before, but he was working from home. Now he's working in a studio. He actually switched from radio. He's over on the TV side now. He's working in the TV studio every day.
Nice.
Well, yeah, except that he has to go to bed at like super early, stupid dark early, because he has to be at the studio at 3 a.m.
Oh my gosh.
Because that's morning news for you.
That's a lot.
Yeah, but it's, you know, that's kind of what I'm used to. He used to work overnight. So,
okay.
You know, I'm kind of used to like having my own space and, you know.
That's good. So the time you spend together is quality then.
Yeah. Theoretically. some bumps in figuring it out.
Right.
So then we cut to Kody being a man in the woods, and he's got a shovel on a snow-covered log, presumably on the great property of Coyote Pass and their majestic mountains. Look at the mountains. Look at the mountains. And he's doing man things by like shoving a shovel on this log that has snow all over it. I don't know what he's doing, but he's trying to show off his manhood, I guess. I don't know. Flash to Kody and Christine a month later and talking about this again. Why did she move his cheese? Basically, he says he was disgusted and losing his shit, and she's and that she somehow is like the passage for him getting to his children, because he doesn't have the ability to talk to them directly himself or something. Like they're, I don't know, this
I didn't realize COVID could travel through cell phones and Zoom and FaceTime.
Yeah. And I'll stop here and say this, that last season during when COVID stuff, like I'm, definitely one of the, let's follow super strict COVID guidelines, right? Because I'm immune compromised, blah, blah, blah. You work in healthcare. You're dealing with bodies and people. She's an acupuncturist,
Yeah.
Doctor of acupuncture. I don't know what they're called. What are they called?
Yeah, it's I'll be a doctor of acupuncture, doctor of Oriental medicine in January.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah.
Crazy.
So the point being is that, no one's out being, going to like these rallies and doing things and not masking, right? Like I believed in these things, I still believe in these things, we have to do all this. So when all of this, you got Janelle and her kids, her boys that are off just gallivanting, doing whatever as if whatever, no surprise that they got COVID, and all this stuff. And I do think that there were some people that were of this family that weren't being as careful as they should. And I agreed with Kody trying to, say with Kody's side of things, I guess I'll say that there needs to be this really good lockdown type of thing. And, we did some weird adjustment stuff so that, baby Frauded could go hang out with his friends, but he ended up hanging out with like this little pod of people, like there's things you do to, we had to deal with, but I was on his side on that issue is my point. Now, though, he's like blaming all that, and I'm totally not on his side about blaming, because there's things you can do. There's, like you said, the COVID doesn't travel through the phone, doesn't travel through Zoom. You can talk to your kids. You can go see them at the back, in the backyard or whatever. And
in fact, you should be doing more. If you can't physically see your child, you should be doing absolutely like 100 times more to support them however you can.
Absolutely. 100% agree. 100% agree. Absolutely.
Like I look at my daughter and I can't imagine. I mean, obviously she's a baby and I have to take care of her, but I cannot imagine her at 8, 10 years old, me not hugging her or even being in her presence. I can't imagine it. I don't know. I mean, to some level, like mask up, wash your hands, do whatever you need to do. I mean, early on, I totally get it. Like, it's just like
the first couple of weeks and months, whatever you're trying to figure out. But there are certainly, we managed to do it perfectly safely, other people did, there's ways to do it, before we were able to get, vaccinated and all those kinds of things. So then Kody is saying that it's like this weird paradigm shift for him, because probably to have her make the rules and he doesn't know what the fuck to do when he's not being worshipped. Right.
Yes.
Like he's not used to this. He's not used to her having a backbone and setting things how they are, how she's going to have them. And he's like, wait, what? He's not used to this. Talks about, what this came out of the blue. We need therapy or something. And she's like, if he was really interested in therapy, he could have said something. Like this has been ongoing. He could have said something in the last 3 months, 6 months since they've had that initial conversation about not having an intimate marriage, and that he wasn't attracted to her because she's a bully to Robin's kids or some shit.
How long did they say that they hadn't been intimate? I can't remember.
A long time.
Like years?
It might have been like regular. Like there might have been like, you could count on one hand the number of times over a period of like 4 years or something, but I don't. But it was something like that. It was long. She says that she didn't expect to be here, in this place, and that she had thought that they would be together forever. And then he asks her if she felt relief when she decided to leave. And without missing a beat, she's like, oh, fuck yes. And that she should have left sooner, basically.
Right.
Then he goes back to saying, oh, yeah, she's been threatening to leave for years, but I never listened because women, am I right? Janelle says this is coming. This was inevitable. And then Mary, who's the bastion of healthy marriage, healthy plural marriage, everything, chimes in with plural marriage is like other marriage. If the people involved aren't willing to do it, then there isn't anything else that can be done, which is hilarious because Mary has to remind Kody what her name is, like when she sees him, like she has to remind him that she even exists.
And that's Mary's another thing too, because in watching the earlier episodes, she was so full of life and joy and emotions. She even got upset. She would get upset and cry. Now it's just like blank stare, like just like she's just complacent and just so neutral. It's like when you break up with somebody and you're so done. You don't have any emotion left. Yeah. There's just nothing. You're not angry. You're not happy.
Yeah.
You're not.
You're just, I'm done.
You're just neutral. I'm done. I feel like that's what Mary's at. She's just there, but I'm not seeing any sort of emotion at all on any level. It's just kind of, I'm here. That's how it is. And what a sad way to live your life.
I know. And it's just awful. Hey, Fraudcasters. Fall is just around the corner. As the seasons change, now is the perfect time to reset and think about the little changes that you can make in your daily routine to better your health. Care of is a subscription service that ships high-quality, personalized vitamins, supplements, and powders conveniently to your door every month. You take a short, fun, in-depth quiz about your lifestyle and health goals, and you get a personalized recommendation. You can choose from their recommendations about what they think is best suited for you, or just take the guesswork completely out of it and just use the results of the quiz. They get shipped to you in these individualized little packs with your name on them that have all your daily vitamins in that one pack, but you don't have to stress about the planet because they are made of plant-based compostable film. So you're doing a good thing, but you still get the individualized packs. And each shipment comes with a customized booklet showing you exactly what was in your individual pack and why it was recommended specifically for you and your health goals. For 50% off your first Care of order, go to takecareof.com and enter code FRAUDCAST50. That's 50% off your first Care of order. You go to takecareof, spelled TAKECAREOF.com, and enter code FRAUDCAST50. So we're back at the kitchen table. Kody says he's sorry for being angry. And I'm like, is he really though? I guess this is his newest tactic because it seems very clear that he keeps trying all these different tactics, right? Like first it's COVID, then it's you never told me, and then it's this, and now his current tack is sorry for being angry, because he's telling her that she's right and she's smart and all of the things, right? Like that's his newest. That's this tactic. Then he says what he's really thinking, which is that an injustice is being done to him because bitter, angry little man is a victim and it galls him. People, you guys, it galls him. He said that. It galls him because look at what's being done to him, King Kody.
King Kody. I like that.
Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. Mm-mm. No,
it's
sir.
Like the definition of a narcissist. It's like everything is everyone else's fault. I'm not going to own any type of responsibility.
Right.
And it's just placing, and it's almost like gaslighting. It's like him attacking other people and like he's kind of manipulating like the situation to make it out to be everyone else's fault. That's kind of what I feel like.
Of course, because it can't be his fault. And it still continues. I mean, I just finished watching episode 4 this morning, and he's still blaming everything around him except for himself. So, then God, and this part. Okay. So he says to her that he needs to get to a place where he can rejoice in her happiness. And she says, that is the sweetest thing you've ever said to me. My God, that's the sweetest thing your husband of 20 whatever years has said to you. What the fuck is your baseline for love?
I felt a punch in my gut when I heard that. I was just I almost cried. I got really emotional. I was like, that's so sad.
Yeah. Like I get like what he's saying, like makes sense. I'm not, necessarily knocking what he's saying for once, just this thing, because he does need to get to a place where he can rejoice in her happiness. I get that. You're not necessarily going to be there right away. But what the fuck for her? That's the sweetest thing he's ever said to her. I mean, I guess
stayed with that for 26 years.
I guess it's not him telling her that she's fat and unattractive the way she eats nachos, which he has said to her before.
What? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah. It comes up in one of the, I don't remember where it came up. But it was like, I want to say maybe it was a tell-all or it was and after the, whatever, not after the final rose, because this isn't Bachelor, but like something along those lines. And he basically he kind of tiptoes around it. They show parts of it during this conversation at the kitchen table, but he basically said like he hasn't been attracted to her like ever, and he wasn't attracted to her when they got married. And that might have been this episode actually where he says that part.
That's so awful.
I know. You guys don't put up with being treated like that.
No, I will be alone for the rest of my life if it means not dealing with men like that. That's just
men, women, whoever your partner, your loving partner should not be the sweetest thing that they say.
No.
And then he's on the couch and he says that he's always said that if you're not happy, you can leave. But he never expected anyone to actually do that. And now she's actually doing that. And he's like, what?
Right.
Like a fucking meme. Like,
Yeah.
you know, they pride themselves on, you know, it's the women's choice. It's, you know, polygamy is always the women's choice, blah, 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 blah. They can leave. It's up to them. They're the ones that decide. It's not about me.
Mm-hmm.
But is it really?
Right.
Now she's actually leaving and you can't handle it.
No, I mean, he said he needs therapy for his emotional attachment issues or whatever that means.
What the fuck does that mean?
Again, it's back to his ego. He can't, I think that he's like very black and white on certain issues. And I think with his church and his religion, he did commit to that relationship. Mm-hmm. And rather it being a healthy, nourishing, building relationship, it's toxic, per Christine basically saying that it's not good. And obviously what he's said and done. So he'd rather stick it out and look good in front of everyone else. Like, look at my family, or this is me speaking, my personal opinion. I think he'd rather just keep it intact. So he made a pledge to God, whatever, his church, and it's just awful. I mean, it's just, there's nothing positive about it. I don't even remember what I was saying. It's like going on a tangent. Oh, I can't hear you.
Okay. There. Okay. Sorry. I muted. Sorry. First podcast. Don't know what I'm doing. So then we go back to Christine in yellow on the couch saying that she didn't know that being alone versus being with him, that she could be happy. She didn't know any better. Right. And that she saw that during COVID and everything that she could do this by herself and that she's fine without him and she's happy. And oh my God, this is actually better. I don't have to be around this soul sucking marriage. And this is actually better. And then Kody and all his gall says there was no Kody representation in this marriage, which is like, what? Because isn't this whole fucking show built around you, Kody? Like 17 seasons of this is built around these women marrying you.
Wow.
Like, I don't, what does that even mean? Then he's like, I just need to let her go. And I don't know why this is like toe curling and raging, which isn't the context that I've heard toe curling being used before. But, you know, whatever he and Robin have going on, the red leather couches, like, you do you, boo. Like, but yeah, he needs fucking therapy. And it's like, you think so, you stupid cocksucking motherfucker, because he's so fucking mad that she has the audacity to leave him.
Right.
Sorry, I had some thoughts. I had some feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is what he's saying. And then she, let's see where. Oh, then we're back at the table. And he says, stop making it complicated. And she's like, it already is complicated. And he's like, how? Because he's saying, how is it complicated? And she's just like, she looks at him with this, are you fucking serious? You dumb motherfucker look in her eyes, right? Am I right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because my thought was, I guess in his world, it's just Kody. Right. Yeah. And I was actually just having a conversation with my girlfriends this morning about this very concept in like the general sense about men. Generally, not all men, don't at me on this, that like we as women and mothers, nurturers, right? Like our natural tendency is to take care of the family first and then us, right? Like, it doesn't matter that I have a splitting headache and I'm tired and need a nap. The family needs to be fed, so I'm going to make dinner.
Right.
If that was a man, he would just say, oh, I'm going to go take a nap. Mm-hmm. And what about the rest of us? Okay, if it was your responsibility, you know, to do that type of thing. So anyway, so Kody is just being that man, right? And he's such a beta male that it's just, but in his world, it's just him. He doesn't think of his 18,000 children and wives, right? Right. And she's like, it's already complicated. There's 3 wives and like 26 kids. Yeah. Like, how can it not be complicated? In his world, it's just Kody. He doesn't have to worry about any of the rest of it. Mm-hmm. So anyway, so he's just being a man.
Yeah, I agree.
you know, that's like the entitled mediocre man, you know.
Yeah.
Never had anybody
It's
challenge him their whole life.
yeah, when you say beta male, that is exactly because alpha males don't have to talk about like control and you know, like Kody's mentioning about like things about meetings and Christine's taking over the meeting. Oh, maybe that's another episode. I'm sorry.
It is another episode, but
Okay.
yes, it was
I'll
so
hold that
funny.
thought. Right, but he's just like, you know, anybody that's actually an alpha, whether it be female or male, doesn't have to talk like that. They just do. They just do. And
Right.
it's
A
like,
lion doesn't have to tell people it's a lion.
right.
So then we go back to the conversation about her leaving him with his child. Truly. Now we're going to go back to Truly. This child who doesn't notice whether he's there or not anyway. But then he doesn't even like spending time with her. But how dare she move her away? So then this is another tact, right? But then this is funny. So then Kody asks Christine where she's moving in Utah or whatever. And she's like, definitely not St. George, Utah, which I think is hilarious. Because she's like, oh, I would never move to St. George, which is hilarious because that's where Kalani and Asuelu from 90 Day live.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, but I digress. Oh. Also, it's where her daughter McKelty and her husband Tony and live. And that's where we see on episodes from now when she's there helping her give birth. But I thought that was hilarious. Then he talked about how he's done his research about men not winning in divorce, and it's really shitty. Men don't win in divorce, and she wants to move back to Utah because the rest of her family that, you know, actually loves and appreciates her and see her worth live there. And she, God forbid, wants to be around people who like her.
Right.
And then they flash to all the wives on the couch, not at the same time, but different times, I think, saying that they've all been dysfunctional for a long ass time. Now, tell me this, since you've binged it the whole season or the whole series so recently, do you think it's been dysfunctional since the beginning, or was like when Robin came in, because that's where we were introduced to this family, right? Is that first before as Robin was coming in, or did it hit somewhere later along the line?
Oh, I think it's been dysfunctional this whole time for sure.
Okay, like looking back on it.
Yeah. And in watching the earlier episodes, again, like they seemed very happy, but it was their first time on TV. Obviously, you're going to present yourselves in a certain way, because now you hear Mary, not really Janelle talking about the jealousy, but mainly Mary and Christine talking a lot about the underlying jealousy issues that they had the whole time, even when he took on new wives, like as the new wife came in.
Right.
And I think that Robin was just the cherry on top of the ice cream. I think she was just like, and I know Robin gets a lot of hate, and I know this. A lot of people like, Robin's the one that tore, you know, is trying to break up the family and all this.
I don't think
really don't see it that way. I see her as like just a very like codependent. Yes.
She's very,
I don't see her being vindictive. I think she's just a yes, sir kind of woman. And I think that that's what he's looking for. He needs somebody that's going to be
submissive.
Bowing down. Right. Exactly.
Bowing down to him. Exactly.
Right. She's the only one that is. And so of course he's going to be with her.
Right. And like Janelle, she doesn't necessarily submit to him, but she doesn't challenge him either. She just does whatever she wants to do. He does whatever she wants to do, and she doesn't give a fuck what he does. If he shows up, oh, nice to see you. Have some dinner, you know. Right. And maybe we'll bang. Maybe we'll have a fast bang later so I can get to my stories on TV.
And she said that she doesn't like conflict. Janelle doesn't like conflict. I remember her saying that a few times.
Yeah.
So she kind of backtracks when the conflict arises, and Robin cries and gets emotional. And I think that the dynamic between Robin and Kody is super unhealthy. And I feel bad. I honestly feel bad for Robin, because
this is what she thinks this is what she wants.
Yeah. I think that like everyone is just out to get Robin. And I'm like, I think she came from a very traumatic place with her ex-husband or whatever. She doesn't go into all the detail about that, but
right.
She's looking for stability, and she's just a yes, sir kind of woman.
Yeah. I mean, and Kody makes that clear, I think, because, you know, he says that when he's referencing the COVID rules about, you know, she's the only one that's following them, basically. Right. And that's a metaphor for a bigger thing. You know, he might as well say the bigger thing, which is, you know, she follows all of my rules, and she treats me like, you know, like the head of the household. I'm the one in charge, and I'm supposed to matter, and all this stuff. And yeah.
And
So
were they the first ones to get COVID, or was it Janelle's family first?
I think Janelle's family first.
Okay.
But I'm not positive. I don't have like the dates on when they all did it, they all got it, but I believe that Janelle's boys got it first, which doesn't surprise me because they were basically licking doorknobs and shit, out there. So it's no surprise to me that they got it. And then I think that started to pass it along and
because didn't Kody and Robin actually get COVID? Not from the nanny, but another time, like later on, I saw somewhere.
I thought Kody got it, much more recently than the others, but I don't know for sure. Okay. I don't have like a timeline on it. So we go to Couch Kody saying that he's feeling unmanly and he doesn't want to look weak to his other wives. So he doesn't want to talk to them about this. So it's a secret divorce on national TV from a show that's in its 17th season. Oh, anyway. So then at the table, they talk about telling the family together, and he's surprised probably because he had like another snow-covered log to shove his shovel at. I don't know.
No, he was climbing the mountain of dirt. Remember that?
Is that what he was doing?
There was like a scene where he was like,
mountain of dirt must be conquered.
Right. I was like, wow, look at that. He's standing atop a pile of shit. I'm kidding. I don't know if it's shit or dirt or what.
So then we go to Couch Christine and she says, am I still a sister wife? Fuck no. Also, we need a single Christine in Utah spinoff, TLC, please.
Amen.
I know you don't listen to me, TLC, Matt Sharp Productions and Discovery, any of you, but that needs to be an actual spinoff that we need.
Can we just see it? Like Christine, her vibe is so different now. She looks like she's glowing. She's so happy. Like, I don't know. She just looks great. She looks so happy to be out of that relationship.
She dropped all that dead weight. And I'm not talking about whatever nonsense she's shilling with her pink drink MLM bullshit that she's selling. I'm talking about dropping the dead weight of Kody. Okay. So then after the break, we switch gears and now it's Christine talking to her daughter, Isabel, who had just gotten accepted at a community college in North Carolina and is going to go live with Maddie and her husband. Now, Maddie is actually Janelle's kid. So she talks about how, okay, this is kind of weird. Like, is it weird that her daughter wants to go live with another wife's daughter? Especially since she's the divorcing wife. So it's kind of weird that the divorcing wife's kid gonna go live with absolutely gives no shits wife's kid is how I put Janelle. She absolutely gives no shits, whatever. So they're going to live together. So we have a FaceTime with Maddie and Caleb and it's super cute. And I love that they're moving out and going on about going to school and doing life things and like progressing their life, and Isabel's going to go do this 2-year community college. And then she gets transferred to, I forget which particular, ECU, I guess. 4-year college, like she's got this great plan and as far away from Kody as she can get, and they're doing all these things, this life stuff. And I think it's fantastic. So then after the break, we switched to all the wives and the kids, except for Queen Robin, talking about how terrible Kody is as a father, except to Queen Robin's kids and how, so I generally dislike Janelle's sons and the way they handled COVID. I mentioned that, but I'm kind of on their side for the way they cut off contact with Kody. Now, there's this kind of I think we only get like a little glimpse into it. It's actually much bigger iceberg than this, but they mentioned the thing that Kody kept telling them that they needed to be they're adults. They need to move out.
Oh, I didn't like that.
Yeah.
I did not like that.
Yeah. So he brings this whole thing up again about the fact that Garrison is living in this trailer on her property and then COVID again because Garrison gave it to everybody and he needs to move out because he's an adult. And now this is the thing. This reminded me way too much of like the fundamentalist Mormon folks who like the Short Creek people, the Warren Jeffs people, all of those, the Yearning for Zion folks. They send young men away, right? Because they're competition for all the young girls in the compound to marry. So that if those men are not around, the young girls are forced to marry the gross old pedophile guys. there's a good documentary on this. I think it's called The Lost Boys. I think I need to look that up, and I'll try to link it in the show notes for you guys because it's really good. But there's a whole thing. It's like this about these casting of these boys out, and that's exactly what this reminded me of. Casting his own kids out, not because they're competition for him to get other wives, I would think, but maybe on a subconscious level, that's just, you can't have too many young strapping men around the house because then the wives will be dependent on them. I don't know where this comes from, but it's funny Mormon bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, they're not yes sir kind of men. They're not listening to him. And I think that's the bottom line, is he wants, obedient children, even though they're older. They're not, under 18 anymore. I don't think.
You know what I'm surprised we haven't heard out of Kody's mouth yet is that kids should be seen and not heard.
Yeah, that's a good point. I haven't, and maybe he does say that. We just don't know.
We haven't seen it on camera yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
I can't imagine. And then of course he gives Janelle like an ultimatum, like, okay, well, it's the kids or me. And she's like, well, I'm gonna always choose the kids. Like, what mother?
She's like, what the fuck? Dude, I thought that our understanding was you don't challenge me on shit.
Right. I mean, if there's one thing you don't do is challenge a woman with her children.
Right.
You just don't. Bye-bye.
Yeah. So this whole thing, I actually hope that they go into it more. I hope that we see more later or see stuff from the kids, because the next couple episodes go into it maybe a little bit, but not nearly enough for my liking. Like, even though this is sad and weird and creepy, and there's just this uncomfortable feeling about it, like, I want to know more about why so many of his kids are basically shunning him.
Someone's going to
steal
write
from the Amish, right? What?
Someone's going to write a book.
Oh,
I'm waiting for one of the kids.
I know, right? They have to wait for their TLC contracts to
right.
To do
I think
whatever
there's like a time limit on those contracts. Well, I don't know, depending, but maybe
there's something.
10 to 15 years, we may get an in-depth look into the real life lives of the
kids,
the clan. Yeah.
Oh God, you called them the clan.
The Kody clan. What's their last name?
Brown.
Brown. Yes,
the Brown family. Yeah. What I think is, I mean. I want to hear from the kids about this, and how they're all like just growing up and moving away. And you know what it also reminded me of, and this I just thought of this, is for those of you guys who watch the Welcome to Plathville, right? So that family, like those parents, like their kids keep growing up, moving out and rebelling against them and hating their parents, right? But they don't seem to realize it's them, that they might be the problem about why their kids don't want to talk to them. I feel like this is the same thing, right? Like Garrison and them and the rest of the kids that I don't remember all their names, they don't like him and they want to move away and they want to rebel against him, and he just can't handle that.
Right.
So then he says that he's just trying to keep his kids from getting COVID, but then he clarifies that his young kids, which by that he means Queen Robin's kids, because those are the only ones that are young that he's talking about. Solomon and Brianna, maybe?
Yeah,
Ariane, something like that. Because those are the only ones that he's even willing to quote unquote babysit, because his time is so important and time is money, and kids. So then we go back to COVID again. They go into this, is COVID real or not real? Spoiler alert, it's real. But Garrison is, despite all his beliefs on whatever, that it's all the CDC guidelines and all this stuff are nonsense, he's in the military, so he got vaccinated, right? Mm-hmm. So none of that really kind of matters at this point anyway, because he's vaccinated, he can be around the kids, or be around Kody or whatever. But then we hear Kody and the wives recapping Garrison telling Kody he was done. So then we go, because Kody. So he tells Kody he's done with him because he doesn't like the way he treats his mom, quote unquote, Janelle, or his siblings. And he doesn't like that he treats them like shit because they're not Robin and her kids. And then Cody's ego gets all mad again and then tells them to move out. So that's like the background we got. And I know there's so much more to that. And I want to see it. I would love to see the footage, more footage of that. And then Couch Janelle laughs as if Kody can dictate any such thing, right? Mm-hmm. Cody's name's not even on the lease of the house. She's like, yeah, for sure, whatever. He's telling him move out. He's not even his fucking house. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
First of all, good for him, Garrison, right? Who said that, I think.
Yeah.
For standing up to his dad. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I know, right? And then Kody blames COVID again because he can't see the others, quote unquote. And that they're all rebelling against him because he's an asshole to anyone not named Robin. And then Couch Janelle says her relationship with Kody is adequate, that it's not Robin's, but it's adequate, which is, she says she's fine with it. It's adequate. It's fine. Sad. Also very sad. Janelle, girl, move on. You deserve so much better.
Yeah. I think I'm looking for my notes because I was taking notes on that. I was like, who wants to ever describe their relationship as adequate? If my relationship ever, which I'm not in one now, but when I do have one, if I ever use the word adequate to describe it, then I should be out of that relationship.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah. That's what I think. And then Couch Janelle says there's two sides of the family now, which is Kody, Robin's kids, and Mary. But Mary's more like what's his name? From Office Space, who moved to the basement. You know the movie.
Yes.
Milton.
Milton. I think.
Yeah.
That's a great movie. By the way.
It is. And then the other side of the family, which is like the rational part of the family, except that they sell all this MLM crap. But I guess there's only so much, rational to go around, can't expect miracles. So yeah, so those are the two sides. Then we see Isabel telling Kody that she's moving and he's like, you're escaping all this. Are you escaping this? And it's like, Kody, it's not about you. It's not about her escaping you, although that may play a part into it. She's going to school.
How many kids go away to college, far away from their families? A lot. A lot of people. Yeah. They want to be on their own, independent.
Right. My kid's off at college. I see him once and that's it. I have no idea when I'm going to see him again. Mm-hmm. It's just, it's not about me. He didn't move away because he's trying to get away from me. Although I'm sure he's glad to be away from me. He would have moved to go start the rest of this next part of his life, Mm-hmm. So yeah. So it's just more of Kody being an egomaniac. And then Couch Christine talks about how the kids wish that they had a better relationship with Kody and that it's his responsibility to make that better and that he missed an opportunity to get to know them because they're really great kids.
Again, that's really sad.
And that's what we end on that episode. Yeah.
It is
on him. What do you think? Is it, and we'll get into this more, I think, in episode 3, which we're going to get to next. But yeah, is it on the kids? Is it on him? Is this a Dr. Phil issue where we say, you don't bring kids into adult issues or make kids responsible? For adult issues?
I think it's mainly on him. I really do. I think that he, again, decided to have however many children he had. And ultimately, it's his responsibility to be a father to them all and figure it out at the end of the day. And of course, kids grow up, they get busy, life shows up, life happens, COVID, things happen. But at the end of the day, it's his responsibility to try to be in their lives. That's my opinion.
I agree. Yeah, he needs to meet them where they're at, right? Like if they're 13, 13-year-olds live in a very, 13-year-old world. They're not going to think about, oh, I should take time out of my day to make sure I go and reach out and make sure my relationship with my father is on track.
Right.
Like, that's not how they think, and nor should they be expected to, you know? Like, kids who have to do that, I think, have to grow up way too soon. You know what I mean? That puts them in that parenting role. And I don't think you should do that.
Which I think a lot of the older kids were put into parenting roles too. Now that you mentioned something like that. I mean, early on in the earlier episodes, again, like I think Garrison or one of the older boys was the one making breakfast for the kids. They were tucking them in. I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah. Because the moms need that. The moms needed the help because, you know, Cody's not around, except I guess Robin doesn't need it because they've got a nanny. The two of them at the house all the time, plus the nanny, plus the older kids.
What does the nanny do?
What does the nanny do?
Yeah.
So anyway, that's episode 2. And that's all we got for this episode, but we will be back for episode 3. Thanks for tuning in, you guys. And we'll link all of Lexi's socials and stuff in the show notes, so you can reach out to her if you need to as well. Hit us up. What you think of the episode? What you think of us? Our thoughts on the episode? And we will talk soon.